is defined by the number 3. Or I should say, the Skywalker Saga is, at least. You have your 3 sets of 3 films, and it's usually centered around a trio. And as I watched this saga over and over again, I would say the best climaxes in Star Wars are actually mini trilogies in and of themselves. In almost every Star Wars film, you have your 3-part climax, followed by a 2-part resolution. The resolution parts are broken up by a bit of dialogue, and then your silent reflection, with swelling music that leads into the exclamation point at the end of the poem, which is the main fanfare. Chef's kiss. But let's focus on the 3-part climax. And now I'm not talking about the 3-act structure of a story. I mean the actual climax and height of the action. The film crescendos into a 3-part harmony of action. And I break it up between land, space, and saber. To demonstrate, we'll talk about Return of the Jedi, and not because it is the greatest Star Wars film of all time, but because it truly shows what I'm talking about. In Return of the Jedi, about an hour and a half in, the Rebel fleet arrives at the second Death Star. Here is the moment in this movie where things really take off. The fleet has arrived, but as we're told point blank by our admiral, it is indeed a trap. And the greatest space battle in Star Wars begins. And so here we are. Everything has been leading to this, and the chess pieces are as follows. The ground troops have yet to succeed in their operation. The Rebel fleet is fighting to stay alive as long as possible, desperately waiting for the ground troops to do their part. Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader, and the Emperor are locked together in a room having a battle of dialogue on the cusp of an epic lightsaber battle. This is it. We're ready for the climax of this movie, and this trilogy. We now swing back and forth between the 3 as things escalate and situations become more and more dire. The weaving of these galactic struggles is so enrapturing because though it's galactic, it's also human. Now, before I continue, I know they're not all humans. And I mean humanity. The spirit within our heroes. The personal level. I don't know what else to call it, but just because an Ewok and a Celestian are not human doesn't mean they lack humanity. So, here we are. The pieces are set. Here is the humanity struggle of good versus evil. 1. This nitty-gritty struggle between living creatures. The fighting is so personal for our heroes. These Ewoks using tactile, forced engineering to try and take down an invading force. It's hand-to-hands at times. This war is being fought by creatures in brutal ways right in front of our eyes. Also in this ground battle, and in others in the saga, you have the land battle in 2 parts, with the soldiers fighting each other, and the heroes trying something very specific. And here it's Han and Leia and the droids trying to get in to blow up the station. Now, part 2, we move to space. Really putting the stars in Star Wars, and I really meant that pun. Here's the cosmic scale that brings the feeling from just a battle for a planet to a battle for the whole galaxy. Yes, this technically takes place in a relatively small corner of the galaxy, but the stars, literally, and the scale convey that truly grand cosmic nature of the battle. Swarms of enemy ships fill the screen. Titans of ships blast each other. The dialogue is loud and urgent as scores of our heroes disintegrate. The fires engulf the cockpits as screaming rings out over the comms. All the while, the humanity is expressed with close-ups and cockpit shots. Lando's frantic commands as they attempt to just survive until they can do the next impossible task. Which leads us to part 3. Whew, this is intense! But we're not done. We're only 2/3 of the way there. No, my friends, it's time for the 3rd level. We've had land, we've had space, but now we need the saber. Our lead hero is having his final showdown with his corrupted but not hopeless father, and the most evil and powerful person in the known universe. In this 3-part climax, the most personal battle isn't in space or a land battle, it's the final lightsaber fight. Or in some cases, the lightsaber isn't even necessary, as we'll discuss later. The point isn't the saber, even though I have been using that word. It's the one-on-one battle of good and evil. Specifically in Return of the Jedi, it's more than just lightsabers, it's the confrontation of father and son. It's fought through lightsabers, but also words. Words and ideas clash, as well as the red and the green. The fate of our other characters is also in peril in the first two, but in the third, it's more than just life or death. It's the soul of our hero. In Return of the Jedi, our hero's soul is intact, and we get back our fallen hero from the trilogy before. And all of this is happening at the same time. And it's beautiful. I love this structure. But that's just one example. That's the groundwork for what I'm talking about. I've never really officially ranked the Star Wars films, but I definitely have Return of the Jedi number 1, and Phantom Menace, it might be number 2. And I think it's because of the way they stack this climax on top of each other, more so than any other episode. The Phantom Menace mirrors Return of the Jedi heavily in this way, making episode 1 and 6 rhyme in really strong, intentional ways. Let's go through it. 1. Naboo land fight, broken into 2 parts. Gungans and droids on Naboo, Padme going after the Viceroy. 2. The space battle, Lilani being a hero. 3. The lightsaber fight with Maul, Obi-Wan, and Qui-Gon Jinn. And again, we have that nitty-gritty humanity of war on the land. Gungans are punching droids, and Padme, our queen, is striving to save her people in short-range shootouts. The galactic scale of the space battle may seem like a smaller one than Return of the Jedi. This is just one planet after all. But as the start of the entire Skywalker saga, we see the birth of the patriarchal hero that shapes the entire saga, episodes 1 through 9. And lastly, the 1-on-2 fight of good versus evil. And on paper, this doesn't seem like a battle for the soul of our heroes, just a physical threat to life. But in the end, I think we can agree it was a battle for his soul. He just wasn't there for it. I think the climax of Attack of the Clones has this, though not stacked, or in space technically, but we do have our land battle, air battle, and we finish with that lightsaber face-off. Now, this 3-part climax isn't there in every film. Revenge of the Sith is all about the saber, let's be real. In these moments, all else have fallen to the wayside. For A New Hope, you have your land battle, which is technically on a space station and not really a battle, but you know what I mean. Our saber is the rematch of the century, and for A New Hope, we save the space battle for last in what is one of the greatest climaxes in cinema history. And speaking of cinema history, for The Empire Strikes Back, we have Leia, Chewie, and Lando running around Cloud City, turning stormtrooper hearts into sparks, with the saber giving us the most famous scene in cinema history. And while the space aspect is more just flying around trying to get the out of there. The Force Awakens has another air battle rather than space battle, ground battle that is more in line with what Padme's team and Han and Leia are doing in Return of the Jedi, with the culmination of a lightsaber battle. In The Last Jedi, we have our air battle, land battle, and the most unique, subversive lightsaber battle of any of the films. Lastly, we have The Rise of Skywalker. We have what may be the largest space battle, with one of the most unique land battles, and our lightsaber fight at the end. I think Rise of Skywalker comes the closest we get to this stacking the 3 as we do in Phantom Menace and Return of the Jedi. And though not part of the Skywalker saga, Rogue One also does this, though the lightsaber bit at the end is mostly just awesome lightsaber madness, which is fine. It's dramatic. And that's just it. Star Wars is dramatic. And the way it weaves its drama between the land, flight, and this one-on-one clash is operatic. And when it stacks these on top of each other, it's downright monumental. But as I run out of adjectives, I'll say this. It's all of these things of what I've described, while also being so personal, full of humanity. And these climaxes appeal to the imagination and to our souls. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. Sorry if that ending was a little dramatic, but I don't think there's any other way to end than being a little bit dramatic. And again, leave a comment if you have a better word for humanity. Maybe I'm the only one thinking about this because I've had someone say, well, they're not humans to me before. It's like, okay, sure. And also, congratulations on making it all the way through and not laughing at the word climax. Good job, everybody. But thank you for watching. Please subscribe, check out my first video. This is only my second, and I have a lot more ideas coming, and I hope you enjoy them. So please subscribe, like. I'm hoping to start doing some other things, like commentaries. I want to talk about The Mandalorian in depth, of course. So stay tuned, and may the Force go with you.